Before making serious moves because of suspicions, it's important to check facts and prioritize honest communication to avoid ruining relationships. Hello, dear listener. Subscribe to the channel and I'll start the story. At the time, we had been married for about 6 years. We both made good money and lived in downtown Denver in a 2-bedroom apartment. While we were at our jobs, our mother-in-law was babysitting our 3-year-old son. One day I got a message in my email from an anonymous box. The content was as follows: "Your husband is sleeping with Rebecca. They work together with respect and goodwill." I immediately deleted everything and did not believe a single word, but doubts began to creep into my soul. I went to the women's forum Woman to read about the signs of infidelity, and my doubts about my husband only strengthened. I found a lot of signals that he cheated on me, although we had sex every day, or even more often. Outwardly, he didn't change. He was just as cheerful and constantly told me how much he loved me. However, I agonized for several months, found more and more circumstantial evidence, but there was no direct evidence. 2 months later, another message came with attached pictures and video of my husband with that woman. The photos showed him with her in various places: on the street, in the office, at work, in the cafeteria, and in suspicious places. In public, they were kissing and hugging. On video, they were having sex. At this point, my first urge was to nail him. Then I thought I should at least clear the relationship up. Instead, I held back and pulled myself together, deciding not to say anything until I decided what to do. I called my close friend and told her everything I knew about my husband. She wrinkled her nose a little and said that she had heard the gossip a few months ago, but she didn't know anything for sure. That was good enough for me. Not only had he betrayed me, but everyone around me knew and mocked. For a few days, I went into deep thought. My husband noticed I wasn't myself, but I told him I was having female problems and that sex was off for a while. I decided I wouldn't live like this anymore, and I didn't want to. I decided that I would not just leave, but I would make sure to let him feel how much it hurt to be in my shoes. I may have continued to love him, but at the same time, I started to hate him. I absolutely did not want to have an affair on the side, but moved in myself. Began at work to respond to the communication of one guy. Told him that with my husband, we do not have a relationship, and they were not. Then we started meeting after work, and eventually it came down to sex. His apartment was close to work, which was convenient, and we often went there at lunchtime. I even started to like it. I felt like I could let go of my husband more easily now. So without saying a word, I filed for divorce, citing my husband's infidelity as the reason. The second part of my revenge was to let him find out from strangers that I was cheating on him. Once he found out, it didn't take long. I was just afraid he'd kill me in a fit of rage. Even though he's very calm and intelligent, it didn't work out so well. He followed us and met us outside my lover's house as we were leaving the driveway together. My buddy from work was clearly scared of my husband and started talking, rambling, that I told him we were getting a divorce anyway. At this point, my husband silently punched him in the face and broke his nose. It was not pleasant. I, in an attempt to stop, stated right up front that this was my new man and that I had already filed for divorce. We would discuss the rest at home in the evening, and I would pack my things and move in with my parents next weekend. My husband took the news quietly, without asking a single question. He said, "We'll wait until tonight." I came home in the evening ready for a scandal, but my husband was calm. When I asked him if he wanted to know why I was leaving him, he said, "No." That hurt me. However, I started packing my bags. My husband was as silent as a fish and just sat watching TV. Became kind of gray. No emotion, nothing. 2 days passed like that. Friday. I ordered a car to carry my stuff, and he helped me load my stuff. Kissed my son and said, "Well, bye." He smelled a little like alcohol. I told him that if he was interested, I emailed him some pictures and videos that would explain everything to him. He only nodded. That was the footage I got in the mail. Plus, I took a couple candid shots with my lover and finished with, "If you think I'm going to miss your small and hairy, you're wrong. I already have another, much better and bigger than yours. I was never happy with you. Goodbye." I really wanted to hurt him one last time. I moved away from my husband. Not a word. My mother-in-law called me a few times and asked me to talk to her, to decide what would happen to my son, but I flatly refused to keep the relationship that way. Raz, our son does not need a husband, who will not see him, no one from their side. With the lover we met 2 more times, and he ran away from me. Yeah, I didn't really keep him. A month later I received a summons to court, and the next time my husband and I met in court. I was shaking. I hoped to the last that something would happen, that my husband would want to talk to me, that he would beg me to come back, and that we would not be divorced. But he didn't talk, and we were divorced with no problems, as I was the initiator. When asked by the judge, he said that he had never cheated, but he didn't object to the divorce either. He was awarded child support. On the way out, we met face to face, and all he said to me was, "Look at the video more closely, stupid. He has a tattoo on his shoulder, so it's not me. I didn't cheat on you. I wish you happiness with your new husband." I told him, "Yeah, fuck you." And as I was leaving, I started thinking about it. When I got home, I started to watch the videos, and indeed in several places it was visible that the man had tattoos on his shoulder and arm. The husband did not have any tattoos. Then I looked at the photos again, and it came to my attention that in all the photos where they were kissing and hugging, there was another man of a different build, very similar to the husband. In the photo where my husband's face was clearly visible, there was no crime, just 2 people side by side. I was so horrified that I didn't see it sooner. Apparently, my eyes were at that moment covered with a veil of rage, emotion that my mind passed off everything I saw as wishful thinking. Goosebumps ran down my spine, my legs gave out, and became woozy. It slowly dawned on me that I'd been cheated on, that he hadn't cheated, and that's when I felt really bad. In an instant, all my experiences flashed through my mind, how I made myself fall out of love with him, hate him, how I forced myself to hug my coworker, touch his bells. And sex almost made me throw up. In tears, I started replaying all the moments with my husband, from the beginning. After all, he was the first man I had ever trusted. And how we went on vacation every summer, waited a long time to have a baby, and then got really excited watching our son grow up. How I thought that if necessary, I would give my life for him when he was very sick. How good everything was. God, I suddenly felt so disgusted at the thought that I was the one who cheated. I called my ex-husband. He didn't pick up for a long time. Then something unintelligible came out, and he hung up. I tried calling him for days. He wouldn't pick up. Finally, I called my mother-in-law. I was greeted with icy politeness, and the mother-in-law said that my husband wasn't well at the moment, that he would call me himself when he could. That was it. I called him a couple times a week, and after about 2 months he suddenly picked up the phone and told me in a calm voice, "That man doesn't live here anymore. He's dead. Please don't call here ever again." I tried to explain to him what had happened, how I still loved him, how my son and I missed him. I even lied that we didn't have sex with a lover, that we were just dating. But my husband was stubborn and wouldn't listen to me. It's been a few years since then. I live alone with my son. The ex-husband, as far as I know, lives alone. He gets depressed from time to time. He started drinking. Neither he nor his mother communicate with my son. Now I'm trying my best to establish some kind of relationship with him. Yes, at least a friendly one. I want him to communicate, at least with my son, so that the son knew and saw his father. Otherwise, I won't be able to forgive myself. I'm afraid that one day my son will grow up and find out the truth. He'll hate me for my family, for my father, for my betrayal. That's the story. Write your opinion in the comments. See you later.